Welcome to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Vern Glenn, of CBS affiliate, and
From
Russell
Los
Jack.
Angeles.
Yes, that's right. And Russell Jackman, who he's not here right now. Who knows? Maybe he'll show up. At each
Oh, he'll jump
commercial,
in.
at each commercial break, we're going to ask a sports trivia question. And lately, if you remember, the last couple of weeks we've been doing names, so we'll continue that on. My name is Bob or Bobby. Okay, that's our sports team today. So when we come back, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. You got Kyrie Irving, John Gruden, Ben Simmons, and also a little something about Baker Mayfield. And then for our local people here, our Giants looked pretty good last night. Can you imagine Scherzer losing a 1-0 game?
Well, he said it himself after the game. He just said, "You know what? We lost this game on one pitch."
Yeah,
and he wasn't wrong. So
no, and there's definitely some great defense out there. You know, it's funny too because I was looking at some of the highlights, and a lot of people don't realize how hard it is to play center field or any of the outfield, but to play center field and to judge coming off the bat. You know, you're talking 300 feet or so, right? And
yeah, and these guys do it for a living every single day, and and when you factor in the wind, it can be an adventure out there. Just ask Steven Duggar.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So, kind of makes you. I still think about Willie Mays' famous 1954 catch in the World Series. Still
that
remember
catch was that catch. People lost their minds because nobody had seen a catch like that before. That was the first of its kind.
Well, if you think about it, you're talking the Polo Grounds, which is 505 feet to the end of center field, and nobody played that deep. And so he had to run back, about 100 feet or so. It's just ridiculous. All right. That is that's our theme for today is a lot of this good stuff. All right. Stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. Don't touch that dial. We're going to be right back. Well, welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown along with Vern Glenn. Not sure where Mr. Jackman is, but maybe he'll show up. Maybe he won't. All right. What do you want to start with? There's a lot of stories out there.
Well, I mean, there's the resurgence of Red Sox Nation. They've advanced to the ALCS and in the fashion that did and come from behind late inning fashion, and then of course for the first time ever, the Giants and the Dodgers are facing each other in postseason. Can you imagine? In the storied history of that rivalry, never met in the postseason until now.
Wow.
And so that just adds to the whole allure of it. Plus, you got two teams that moved out west after the 1957 season, which essentially brought professional baseball to the West Coast, and just the drama around it. I mean, as we record this show, all the Giants wins have been by shutout, and then the Dodger win, was a Saturday night just blowout special. Where they tallied 9 runs on Giants pitching, but pitching and defense and execution. And we should mention the incredible hops by Brandon Crawford. And if he doesn't make that play on Mookie Betts, we could be talking about a different series right now.
Yeah, good point. He looked like he got up about 10 feet in the air there.
There's a story that when Crawford was playing baseball in high school, he's a local Bay Area product from Pleasanton, went to Foothill High School. His baseball teammates challenged him to dunk a basketball, and in Crawford kind of quiet-like manner, walked into the gym and dunked a basketball and then walked off.
Love it.
Yeah.
So let's see here. If I remember correctly, 1969 was the first year that they had the interleague play, but they had the playoffs to see who got into the World Series. And if I remember correctly, the Mets beat the Cubs to get in.
Yes, that was the year where all the New York teams beat all the Baltimore teams. Jets beat the Colts, Mets beat the Orioles, and the Knicks beat the Bullets.
That's right. Oh my gosh, that's right. Yeah. Oh,
that's right.
Gotcha. But then when did the wild card start? Because that's
the wild card. The wild card was initiated after the 1993 season when the Giants won 103 games and did not advance to the playoffs.
I
It was
remember
only
that.
the division champion that would advance. And that particular year, the Atlanta Braves won 104 games. And so there was just such an outcry for that. Wild card later ensued, and here we are.
Okay, so 1994 would have been the first year potentially that the Dodgers and Giants could have faced off because they're
In a hypothetical, yes,
I
they
thought,
could
okay,
have.
okay, so still the first time in 28 years.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, just good, just incredible. And just to I'm working on the TV side, and so we're bringing our audience just kind of the atmosphere of Dodger Stadium and just this pretty much like in San Francisco, this blind following of the Dodgers. And I must admit, as a broadcaster, the Dodgers, boy, they do it right. They take care of us. They roll out the red carpet for media, especially out of town media. It is the one stadium that I can think of that has specialized designated areas to actually do your reports while the game is going on. Uh, Usually, the general rule is, Edward,
yeah.
if you're not a rights holder, you cannot transmit from inside the stadium during the game. Only the
Oh,
rights holders can do that.
interesting.
So CBS, not a rights holder, so we had to go outside of the stadium, but they had a nice little backdrop that gave you a nice little background for those particular occasions where myself and then CBS local Los Angeles and other state ABCs that we all did our live hits for our respective 6 o'clock newscasts because the game was going on.
So
That's a little inside TV for you.
I wonder how I wonder if there's a little bit that they're thinking, you know what, let's treat these guys well, and then they'll be nice to our Dodgers in their reporting.
No, I don't think about that at all. I just
No,
think we're in one of the entertainment capital of the world, so to speak,
no.
and it was the forward thinking, this being Hollywood and transmit and promotions and marketing and looking good. They just thought that one step further and created this nice little backdrop for media to do the live cast while a live event is going on. I thought it was very very smart. You can't get that in San Francisco, certainly not at Oracle Park. If you have to do a a broadcast in the middle of the game, you have to go completely outside of the stadium, either to the Willie Mays statue
Yeah.
or to some other oh by the way on the street kind of backdrop. Not
Well,
not
why,
not a very good backdrop
well, why do you think they do that?
because the ones who are rights holders have paid millions of dollars to be able to broadcast exclusively the game itself, and they don't want they don't want any kind of transmission
Huh.
from the game to get out there to other outlets. I mean, they'd be doing it for free. I mean, it's just I can understand that. I mean, if
Okay.
Edward
Yeah.
if Sports Econ 101 paid $10 million for exclusivity of a live broadcast, you don't
Oh,
want some
yeah.
fly by night station going in and giving you almost like a live look into what's going on during a
Gotcha.
broadcast. You wouldn't want that at
All right,
all.
where do I write the check? All right. Hey, let's move on. We got to talk about John Gruden. Probably more than
Yeah,
just one thing.
that breaking news happened while I was on the air. So
Oh,
that was just like I was like, whoa, yeah.
wow. And it's weird because, I only know what is being reported, right? I don't know all
Hmm.
the behind the scenes, but I'm thinking, I guess the first, the oldest email and stuff like that is from 2011, and then I guess there was some recent stuff up maybe 5 years later. But you're still talking about 5 or 6 years old. This information.
The story is these are emails that somehow were leaked, first reported by the Wall Street Journal, and at first, it was just the one
Yeah.
email, and then the New York Times came out, and it turns out that there's been a bevy of emails from 2011 through 2018, just filled with bigotry
Yeah, all
and
these rants.
racism and stuff like that. And so and it's just one of those things, unfortunately for John, because yeah, I haven't hidden the fact that that I'm a John Gruden guy.
Gotcha.
Um,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things that snowballed, Edward, and it just got so big that in John Gruden's mind, this was creating a distraction, and so he met with Mark Davis, and they met, and then coming out of that meeting, he announced that he was stepping away. And if you could just see the Raiders post game after Sunday's game, he was just hammered with questions after questions about the emails and the situation, how he's handling it, and it was probably, I don't know, I'm exaggerating, up to maybe 8 questions before we got to actual football question about the game itself. And
All
so
right.
just so that I would think John would think, well, these kind of questionings are going to continue
Yeah.
every Sunday,
Yeah. For
and
quite a while.
and how could this go on?
Exactly. Distraction for the team and everything. Hey,
So
okay. So we're going to continue. We'll continue this after the first trivia question here. So my name is Bob or Bobby. My nickname was Rabbit Robert, as I played my entire 18 seasons with the Cleveland Indians. I was in the top 10 MVP voting in 6 seasons. In 1940, I won the Triple Crown, but still finished second in the MVP to Hank Greenberg of the Tigers. 6 times I led the league in wins. I was a 1962 Hall of Fame inductee. Who am I? All right, that's our trivia question. You think you know the answer?
I can guess.
Okay, well, you'll have heard of this player. All right.
Okay.
That's our trivia question. I'm not going to read it now, but when we come back, I'll read it again. Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. One more time. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn. All right. First trivia question. My name is Bob or Bobby. My nickname was Rabid Robert, as I played my entire 18 seasons with the Cleveland Indians. I was in the top 10 MVP voting in 6 seasons. In 1940, I won the Triple Crown, but still finished second in the MVP to Hank Greenberg of the Tigers. 6 times I led the league in wins. I was a 1962 Hall of Fame inductee. Who am I?
Is it Bob Brown?
No? So
No.
if you think of a good, who was a good pitcher for the Cleveland Indians during this time?
Oh, Bob Feller.
Bob Feller. There we go.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. I myself faced Bob Feller in a it was a kind of it was Bob Feller night at the San Jose Giants, and he was on the mound and pitching against select Bay Area celebs, and so I grabbed a bat and faced him, and I could not hit him.
How
Even
old
then,
was he
I mean,
at that time?
oh, he had to have been. Oh my God, he had to have been 70 some odd. I mean, he was but he was. But he was, he was fiery, and he was on the mound, and he could bring it.
He was still throwing heat. I like that. That's great. Okay, so wait, still back to John Gruden. I'm thinking, okay, so apparently there's all these emails, and usually emails, unless it's sent to a group of people, is sent to one person. I think it was sent to one person, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just a private conversation, basically, between 2 people. And I understand all the bad stuff that he sent, and I'm not an attorney, so I don't know about the pictures, that may have been an illegal activity, sending pictures of women, without their consent. But the various comments, I mean, if he would have, talked bad about Muslims, Jews, Christians, whatever, I mean, would it have held the same thing as a homophobic one, or calling someone a weakling, so to speak, with using language that we'll try not to use on Sports Econ 101.
Yeah. It's one of these things, Edward, in the corporate world with a public figure, you just can't have something like that happen. I have never seen anyone, I don't care who you are, I've never seen anyone overcome a public embarrassing situation like that and have the company stand behind him or her.
Yeah,
I've never seen it.
Yeah, Mark Davis was in a really tough position because, I mean, it's going to be a reflection on him. And it wasn't just one little rant of one thing. I mean, apparently he, I mean, it was the culmination of the racist and the homophobic and the misogynistic. I mean, he kind of, left no stone unturned. But I kind of wonder, where are they going to push the envelope? Like if he wore a MAGA hat, is that going to be the next thing? People, oh, you can't do that,
Well, we'll never know because he's
Yeah.
unemployed. And Stephen A. Smith went on ESPN and he was as bold as saying that John Gruden's career is over.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
get that.
because right now
He's
it's too
tainted.
much of a toxic
Yeah.
situation. I mean, nobody. I mean, who would touch him? I mean, you can't. So, but but we live in a land, Edward, of second chances. My gosh, we're just based on second chances. So
Yeah, but I wonder how it'll have to be too
we'll
much time to go by, though. I mean, he can't within a week. He's not going to be able to apologize for all this
no,
stuff. It's going to be at
no,
least a year.
no, no. Yeah, it'll be quite some time. But yeah,
That's,
they say time heals all wounds, but I mean,
yeah,
we'll have to see. But the bottom line is, 4 years into a 10-year contract
that's what I was
where
wondering.
he was paid 10 million a year, it's done. And
And I'm guessing
and I,
Mark
and I
Davis doesn't have to pay the rest of it because he was fired for cause or he resigned.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a companies go, we don't comment on personnel
Yeah.
matters, that kind of thing.
That's
So
the company line. So
that is the company line.
yeah, well, okay, so kind of going along the same theme of money, because this is Sports Econ 101. So Kyrie Irving, sounds like he's not going to be playing any home games in Brooklyn, but also I guess he wouldn't be allowed to play in San Francisco, or are there any other venue that requires a vaccine, right?
Well, only New York and San Francisco have had the strictest
Okay.
health conditions, and so if this were to continue, he would not be permitted in Chase Center at all.
Yeah.
Now we had a situation locally with Andrew Wiggins,
Wiggins, yeah.
who kind of delayed, and fought or whatever. But he
It's okay
eventually,
to use the word buckled. He buckled,
yeah, he
you
he
know.
eventually buckled and he got the Johnson and Johnson shot, and so here's a Warriors team that's 100% vaccinated.
Yeah.
But in the case of Kyrie, I mean, just let's just let it linger a little bit more. I mean, we're in preseason now, and but once meaningful games hit and certain game checks are not issued, then that has a way of changing a man's mind.
Yeah, yeah, it's and I don't know how much Kyrie is worth, and you got to think it's a
Well,
lot.
he probably earns more than Wiggins, and Wiggins had a $30 million contract
Exactly.
where he was risking up to you like a $370,000 game check
Yeah,
per game. I mean, just
that's hard.
imagine missing that per game. I mean,
Yeah,
that geez, that's
that's tough. Whether you play or not, yeah, that is really that's really tough. And so, yeah, I mean, who knows? They may come up with a vaccine that Kyrie is okay with, because they're apparently they're going to be coming up with ones that maybe not quite as intrusive. But what's going to happen when some basketball player has a bad reaction to the vaccine and is going to say, "See, I told you, I didn't want to get this stupid thing. Look what happened to me." Now, that's not going to be in all the cases, but people probably going to go, "Well, hey, those are the odds, right?" Well, if you didn't get it, then look what would have happened if you had gotten vaccine or gotten COVID. And then Ben Simmons, he's back with the 76ers, and same sort of thing where it's like, lost income will do that to you, won't it? Where you just say,
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't care whether you're Jeff Bezos or whatever. I mean, nobody is in this to actually lose money based on your. I mean, if you, now and I'm not in any way um, vilifying anybody who elects to not get vaccine. I mean, that is your right, but there
yeah,
are consequences and there are company rules now. I mean,
yeah,
ask Southwest Airlines; they're going through it right now,
yeah,
where where these mandatory, vaccinations, it is an issue. And companies move on. They're
Well,
going to
like
move
Ben
on either
Simmons.
with you or without you.
So in Ben Simmons' case, I don't think it's a vaccine thing. It's more of like him not wanting to play with the 76ers, right? He won, but didn't he?
Well, Ben, he's not the first, and he won't be the last disgruntled player. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah, exactly. But
So
but I could really imagine, and I'm not him, but I could really imagine, like, what Wiggins had to do too. With it's like every day that went by that you didn't play, and you go, well, there's 376,000 or however much he's
mhm.
making, he's probably more, and that's got to be really hard to walk away from. Like you said, I
Yeah,
mean, that's a house payment for some of these guys, you know.
yeah, yeah. It's a great bit of change. It's change that I will never know about. And
And
yeah, we'll just
what about
we'll
Evander?
see what happens.
I don't have this on my list, but just reminded me. What's going on with Evander from San Jose
Evander
Sharks?
Kane,
Yeah,
Evander Kane.
yeah.
That investigation is ongoing, and while it's ongoing, Evander has been away from the team. And for the listener viewers that don't know what's going on, he is being investigated for A, throwing games, and B, using a false vaccination card. Now, these are allegations thrown out by his estranged wife,
Yeah.
and it got on the NHL's radar, and so they are doing an investigation. But that is
Uh,
really all we know. As we record this game, it is opening night of the NHL regular season.
yeah. Well, isn't it also domestic violence that she's claiming?
Alleged by the wife, yes.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
also going to be part of this investigation. But I don't know. Is he on paid leave, or is he on unpaid leave?
I do not
Not
know.
sure. Yeah. So, sports guys out there, keep your nose clean and don't do these sort of things. Otherwise, you.
Well, I mean, just we're all products of our environment, and we are responsible for the decisions and the
Yeah,
actions that we make and take. And in this push button world,
yeah,
before you hit send
yep.
on that phone or that phone, boy, you better think, because once you hit send, it is not coming back.
And it also, these guys, 21 years old, making millions of dollars. I mean,
Mhm.
it's just too much money for them. They don't know how to handle it. Hey, we're gonna move on to our second trivia question. My name is Bob or Bobby. I pitched for 9 seasons, mostly with the White Sox. My only career highlight was in 1990 when I won the Rolaids Relief Award, finished fifth in the MVP voting, and fourth for the Cy Young Award. I also led the league in saves in 1990. Who am I? All right, that's our
Mm.
trivia question. Again, my name is Bob or Bobby. And stay with us. You are listening to Sports Econ 101. Don't touch that dial. We are going to be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. One more time. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn. And no Russell Jackman today. He had an emergency client meeting. Being an attorney, you got to have those things sometimes. Here's our
Right.
second trivia question. Named Bob or Bobby. I pitched for 9 seasons, mostly with the White Sox. My only career highlight was in 1990 when I won the Rolaids Relief Award, finished fifth in the MVP voting, and fourth for the Cy Young Award. I also led the league in saves in 1990. Who am I?
Drawing a blank. Drawing a blank.
Bobby Thigpen.
Bobby
Bobby
Figpen.
Thigpen. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the next question will be a little bit more of a softball question for you. We threw a couple of hard ones for you.
You did.
I did. Okay. Now I got a question here about Baker Mayfield. Should
Hmm.
he be fined for calling out officials over bad pass interference call? And I'm thinking, you know what, the officials need to take heat just like everyone else and own up to it if you mess up. And what I'm talking about is against the Chargers. Clearly it was pass interference against the Chargers, but it was called against Cleveland, and that basically, if you can look at it, that really did cost him the game. And so, he's Baker Mayfield's a little frustrated, and he calls out the officials, and it didn't sound like it was too much of a rant, but he even said, "Yep, I'm probably going to get fined over this." And I'm thinking, everybody's got to be a big boy. Why can't they call out the officials if they do something wrong?
Because in the NFL or whatever sports franchise, officials are the law, and what they say goes. I mean, they have replay, they have review, they have all this stuff, but calls are going to be missed, and officials are going to essentially drop the ball. But
Okay.
you cannot challenge the integrity of the system, and once that happens, then there are consequences for doing that. Everybody's on board. Everybody knows about it. Players union, coaches, everybody knows about it. But I will say this: in the heat of the moment,
Yeah.
because here's what happens: the game ends, and it's only a few minutes after the game, while your emotions are still running high, especially if you
Yeah.
lose a game like that, and then you go into the interview room, and then there's hundreds of media there asking questions about, well, what happened, what went wrong,
Yeah.
and the player is pretty much still upset,
Sure.
and and things just get out there. I mean, it happened with Baker Mayfield. It happened with Joey Bosa of the Chargers. So and yeah, you're gonna get a little less in your game check
Well,
next time.
you mentioned about the integrity of the game, and I mean, I don't think anybody is like, I don't think Baker was saying, hey, you know what, this official cheated. He had it in
No,
for him.
no,
Bet
not
on the game.
no,
It wasn't
not
like that.
no, not no, no, not cheated, but you can't you can't throw out a glimmer of doubt in the public audience that that the system is fractured. You know what I mean?
Well, the
You,
system.
they just won't allow that to happen.
I mean, what did he say that
So
was so bad? Did he say more than just
I didn't think it was so bad, but I mean,
no?
it's a broad brush that's painted that you can't even go there, and if you
That's a
go
problem.
there,
That's
then
a
this will
problem.
happen.
You can't make these guys a sacred cow. Obviously we
Yeah,
don't want violence against them, but if they say, you know what, this guy, he missed it. He just missed the call.
yeah,
Okay, well,
yeah.
okay, he missed the call. I mean, even I remember, um, and I'm trying to remember if it was Don Deckinger or if it was another umpire. Do you remember where, I'm trying to remember, gosh, who was the pitcher? Um, I
You
think it
talking about
was,
the guy that had the no hitter going, and the blown call at first base
yes,
that
exactly.
cost him the no hitter. Yeah, I believe
Yeah,
it was a White Sox pitcher
White Sox.
where
Yeah.
it happened. Yeah.
Exactly. And you know what? The umpire, I mean, he literally the next day when he saw it, he went up and
Oh no, it wasn't the next day. It
apologized.
was right after the game. He goes, "Oh my God, I cost this guy the game." Yeah, he
Yeah,
blew it.
yeah. I mean, now that's a
Yeah.
man for you. Own up to your faults. If you make a mistake, okay, you made a mistake.
Hmm.
As long as you didn't do it on purpose and you own up to it. I mean, for the most part, the umpires and the referees are really they are pretty amazing. When you look at some of the calls that they make, and then you look at replay and you go, holy smokes, man, they made that great call on the field at the
Yeah.
moment. You
Yeah.
know, um,
Yeah.
uh,
But speaking of that,
yeah,
what do you think of what do you think of replay where they put the headsets on, and then the officials in Secaucus, New Jersey, are looking at you? I I personally like it. I
I
don't care
do.
how long it takes.
Yeah,
I
I like it
I
too.
I
We've
I
talked about
I
this.
I I like the fact that they at least try to get it right. But
Yeah,
even in that, there's just a few calls where you're like, wow. I mean, they reviewed it, and it's where we're at home, and we're like, where to us we're like, oh, come on, it's got to be this. But
yeah.
but they but they but
I
they
like
need
it
to see
too.
enough to overturn it.
I
So.
like it because again, get the call right.
Hmm.
Obviously we don't like when it takes too long and you wonder, gee, how many angles do they have to look at? Um, okay. I think there should be more challenge flags for certain calls if they say, oh, you can't challenge that. It's like, well, if it's really obvious and the referee missed it, why not? Use your
Yeah.
challenge flag for that. And if you're wrong,
I
you're wrong, you
I
lose it.
now there's no way to figure this out, but in the world of human error, Edward, I wonder how many times a ump has made a call, and where but for whatever side of the brain kind of takes over, instead of calling the guy out, he called him safe, or instead of calling him safe, he called him out.
Yeah.
Where he meant, oh, geez, I meant to do that, but it's out there. You know, I wonder how many times
You know
the
what?
mistake has been made, and it's like, oh no, I meant to do this, but
You know what? I've seen that at second base, by an umpire, and he corrected himself right away. You know,
yeah.
he did the wrong call. He, oh, no, what am I doing? He wasn't safe. He was out. You know, and then he'll
Hmm.
correct it, and he'll be very explosive in how he corrects it. You
Hmm.
know, thumb out,
Very
thumb out, thumb
emphatic.
out, thumb out. You're out, 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 out. I don't care what I said
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
Um, yeah, there's definitely been some exciting baseball games in these playoffs. You know, it's funny, the Red Sox kind of reminds me of '04 when they came back against the Yankees. You know, like you said, they kept winning.
That was a crazy year because they came from behind in two different series
Yeah,
to win. Yeah, that was amazing. I tell you, it's something about the uniform, man. Something about the power of Red Sox Nation.
yeah.
Something about it.
Well,
I
it's
don't
funny
know.
because
It's crazy.
and then it's very similar to the 2012 Giants, where it was like, you know, there's no way they should have won this one. Then there's no way they should have won this one. But then when they get
Hmm.
in the World Series, it's like, you know what? Let's just sweep them because we're not going to take any chances.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Scherzer was asked about facing the Giants and then the 2012 World Series came up and where Scherzer was taken deep by Buster Posey, and he just say, you know what, that was a lifetime ago. That was his response to that. But
Uh,
these have just been. I feel fortunate to be able to be in a position where I can actually cover a series like that, a
uh,
historical series like that, however it comes out by the time this show actually airs over the weekend. But
yeah.
it's been fun. It's been fun. For you, Edward,
Yeah.
there is an area of Dodger Stadium, I guess, where not everybody can go. It's on the first floor underneath the stadium,
Okay.
and it is like a museum. You come out of these elevators,
Huh.
and on the left are just 46 of however many there are gold gloves that are encased with everybody's name on it and picture next to it. That's pretty cool. And then on the other side of the wall are World Series trophies and MVP awards. And then you keep going down the hall and turn left. Then there's the Cy Young plaques, and then the Silver Slugger bats,
Yeah.
and then if that isn't enough, you go down the hall a little bit further, and on the left and on the right are encased jerseys of the great Dodgers who have worn that uniform. I mean, Pee Wee
Huh.
Reese
Yeah.
and Roy Campanella
Yeah.
and Jackie Robinson. I mean, you just go on that Don Drysdale, and so we did a little tour of it for TV purposes
Yeah.
for Monday show. It was really cool.
How,
And
how
when they say it, let's say at night, you can hear the voices.
so how far back they all call it the museum? How far back in time did they go back to, like, the Brooklyn Robins and the, you know, and the Brooklyn Bridegrooms? I mean, they have
The the ones that are on display are Dodgers in the Los Angeles area.
50, 58,
But
right?
there are, if you go further down the steps, down another corridor on the way to the dugout, there are memorabilia of murals and stuff like that on the walls from when they were in Brooklyn.
Uh,
It's really cool. It's
going
very,
back to
very cool.
the really early days, or just to the, you know?
Really, really early days, the origins, the complete origins. It's
Oh,
really, really
wow.
cool.
See, to me,
1800, yeah,
that's
like,
really cool.
yeah, it is. And then on Monday, during Monday night's game, I had the, I don't know, maybe it was just out of pure hunger, I had the pleasure of downing a couple of Dodger dogs,
Ah,
where the dog is truly longer than the bun itself. But
and is it good?
well, yeah. I mean, it's a hot dog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's funny because I remember Candlestick at AT&T Park or whatever they're calling it now. Their food was actually pretty good. Some stadiums have really good food.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was. I mean, it was. It was okay, but in the as my father-in-law will always say, if you're hungry enough, you'll eat it.
Good
And
point.
I was that hungry at the time.
So it really is a foot long, probably.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. The
And
Dodger dog.
Dodger, do they have fancy stuff like they have in San Francisco? Crab and.
No,
Huh?
not that I saw. I mean, maybe at the regular, general concessions, they do, but I didn't get that far. I just went to
Oh,
I just went to the one designated
well,
area
don't they feed you guys?
where we were
I thought they,
assigned to go.
I thought they fed you guys caviar and all this other good stuff.
Well, there is this. As I take you further inside, when you pick up your media credential, they give you a voucher,
Okay.
which I misplaced, and this voucher gives you a hot meal. You turn in the voucher, you get your hot meal, and you're fed. So
All right.
they do that, which is
Fair enough.
nice.
Okay, we're going to go to our last trivia question here. My name is Bob or Bobby. I played for 9 seasons, mostly with the Giants, and was an all-star in 1984. That was it for my playing career. I did try my hand at managing, and with my first team, Arizona, I won the World Series in 2001. Who am I? Figured we throw you an easy one on that one. I know you're not gonna. I know you're going to know that one.
All right,
And in
okay,
fact, you know that one, right? And
I do.
okay, in fact, if I remember the most memorable game that I remember him playing was he was normally a catcher, but he got thrown into third base. He made like 3 errors in like a couple of innings, but then he hits a game-winning home run to solidify get his redemption back. All right, stay with us.
Mhm.
You're listening to Sports Econ 101. We'll be back with some closing comments. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn. Our third trivia question. I played for 9 seasons, mostly with the Giants, and was an all-star in 1984. That was it for my playing career. I did try my hand at managing, and with my first team, Arizona, I won the World Series in 2001. Who am I?
That would be Bob Brenly.
Bob Brenly. Very good. Yeah,
Yes, yeah. BB.
he had fun. All right. Any last words before we go to our thoughts of the day?
No, just stay safe, play it clean, have a good time. That's my advice.
Yeah, I got to say that Trey Lance, I say Lawrence because I think of Trevor Lawrence. Trey Lance, he didn't look too bad. He got a little nervous in the beginning with the interception, but I think he's going to be he'll be a good one.
He made the mistakes that any rookie would
Yep.
off of 3 days of basically taking snaps with the first string
Yeah.
and trying to get into a rhythm. I mean, it takes time for all of that.
Yep.
Um,
That was a
he'll
good
be
game.
okay. He'll be okay. And the good thing for him and the 49ers is that it's still relatively early in the season.
Yes, and tell Frank Reich not to play not to lose because I think that's why the Colts lost against Baltimore. Okay,
The
here's
old prevent defense.
prevent
Yep.
even no, can't do that. Okay, thoughts of the day. The problem with kleptomaniacs is that they always take things literally.
Ha,
And
ha, good one.
I wanted my kids to watch the orchestra, but I had to turn it off. Too much sax and violins. Sax and violins. I thought you'd like that one.
Classic dad joke.
That's a
there.
dad.
Classic.
Yes. All
Yeah.
right. Tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We'll be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and asking more sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
So long.